Welcome to the OK Book Club. The OK Book Club. Before you listen to this episode 6, you should be reading chapter 14 and chapter 15 of the Hotel Balzaar. So we begin this chapter with something interesting. It's her mother and Marta in their attic room. And what's interesting so far is you're not getting a lot from the mother at all. This is Marta's whole story. So, and this is particularly, this point is particularly driven home by the beginning of the first page in chapter 14, page 91. And she's talking about the last story that she heard from the Countess. Do you remember the song Papa sang to me at night, Mama? Her mother stopped brushing her hair. I'm not sure. It was a song about a nightingale, a nightingale, said Marta. It was a song that he said was fit for kings and queens. Did he say that? Said her mother. She went back to brushing her hair. I have forgotten, I suppose. Really important. The next paragraph. And Marta knew then that whatever mysteries must be solved, whatever light was to be discovered, whatever believing must be done was entirely up to her. Her mother had given up. So brilliantly written. It's everything that clearly we're going to be going forward and learning. This is Marta's story. I almost feel like her mother is going to be in the rearview mirror here. And at this point, all of a sudden, there was a knock on the door. She heard gentle tapping, right? And of course, you know who this is, right? It's Blitzkopf. And Blitzkopf basically tells her, right, we got to head down into the lobby. They go down into the lobby. And look at this. It's almost before midnight. This magical creature. And you know it's magic because listen to this, friends. She stepped toward the clock that she was always staring at. The cat was, as usual, chasing the mouse. And then, just as the hands of the clock turned to midnight, the moment before the chimes sounded, the cat leaped forward and caught the mouse. The mouse disappeared entirely. Oh, said Marta. She took a step backward. And Blitzkopf let out a gleeful cackle. That's the only kind of sound a parrot would make, is a cackle. Great word. The clock struck again and again. The mouse stayed gone. Oh, how delightful to find you here. Marta turned. The Countess was walking toward them, leaning on her cane and smiling. And, of course, she had a hat on, this time an enormous fur hat. I thought, and this is the end of the chapter 14. I thought, she said, smiling at Marta, that it was best for us to continue. Yes, I have thought about it and decided that there is truly no time to waste. We must tell the fourth tale. So what's going on here? What's interesting to ponder and think about? I don't know. As we go forward into the next story, number one, I want to try to, at this point in the book, see if there's any kind of connections, any kind of, something we can learn about what's going to happen at the end of this book. These stories, why are they being told? I'm starting to get a sense. This Countess, like, who is she? Is she somehow related to Marta? Is she maybe, I don't know, Marta's father's mother? I think it might come into place more prominently as we go forward. But does she exist at all? Or is she just magical? Is she just, because this parrot ultimately comes to her in the middle of the night, is this just somebody that she is dreaming up? I mean, there's no conversations yet with, Marta's mother and this Countess. It's like that relationship is just completely hasn't been a part of the story. But let's move on to chapter 15. So we're now in chapter 15. Jasper is sleeping, and I know he's going to wake up. There's going to be some noise outside, but we're so far so good. Yes, Jasper is my puppy, in case you don't know. So, chapter 15. We begin, said the Countess. The three of them, meaning, obviously, Marta, the Countess, and Blitzkoff, were seated at the velvet couch. The clock was ticking. The old man on the front desk was snoring quietly. Now, listen to this, friends. It was 5 minutes past midnight now, and Marta was both relieved and dismayed, which means sad, to see that the mouse had reappeared on the face of the clock and was again being chased by the cat. Magic? Is she dreaming? What's going on here? So the Countess starts relaying the story about the boy that was taken away from the couple that wanted a boy so badly. And remember, it was the king's men that took him away. And this king, as the story goes, related by the Countess, this king couldn't sleep. So he wanted and got this boy who was able to sing to him, and he was able to sing. And now the kingdom and the king were happy. The king was able to sleep. But then the boy became a man, right? And as I'm reading this on page 99, like all of a sudden it popped into my head. Hey, again, is this Countess Marta's grandmother, right? In other words, this boy, as it's related in the story, is this boy Marta's dad, right? Again, I digress, but let's keep the story going. The king said, "Sing as you once sang," but the boy, who is now a man, was not capable of such a thing. He had changed, right? And he could not change back, even with the command of the king. "Remove him," said the king, "and find another who sings as he sings." And so the boy, who was now almost a man, was sent away from the castle. Oh no! And did he go home, like to his parents? And as the Countess relays, he did. But when he got there, to the small house where he had been so loved, he found the old couple had gone. They had left long ago in search of him, right? So ultimately at this point, he kept searching, and he didn't find his parents, but he moved on. He searched and searched, but even though, like I said, he didn't find his parents, he found happiness. This is at the bottom of page 100. He fell in love. He married. He had a child. He did his work. And then that work, and always, along with the work, he was singing. But then the Countess talks about he entered this dark wood and he became lost to himself. He despaired. He did not think he could go on. He was sitting despondent beneath a tree when he heard a rustling above him, and something fell to the ground. What fell to the ground, right? It was the walnut. And when the man looked up to see what had dropped it, "Of course, Blitzkoff," breathed Marta. "And what were the words in the walnut?" asked Marta. The Countess paused. And here's something interesting, right? On the piece of paper inside the walnut was written, oh my goodness, my Italian's not going to be good. Andiamo, vieni con me. Oh my goodness, I'm sure I'm embarrassing myself. What does that mean, said Marta. It's Italian, said the Countess. It means, let's go, come with me. And did he go? Did he go with Blitzkoff? Always. You want things tied together so neatly, said the Countess. What happens next is a different story. This one is done. It is late, my little ray of light. Let's go. Come with me. This has to mean something. And I want to tell you this in case you didn't see it. I happen to look back. Every drawing has a meaning. I go back to page 15, And what is on the top of that empty bottle of perfume with the mermaid on it? Andiamo. And then at the bottom, underneath the mermaid, Vieni con me. And it says Genoa, right? And also, there was another page that I happened to find where there was a date. And I'll have to find this for you because it's on a certain page. Oh, it is. The same page. The date. There's a date. 1898 on that bottle of perfume. So clearly this is turn of the century. And that could be indicative of something. But in terms of the setting, that is interesting that I found that. So Marta is clearly, you can infer she's disappointed, right? But suddenly she said, as she didn't want the old woman to leave, and she wants to show her, since they're down in, for the first time, not in room 314, they're in the lobby. Have you seen the angel wing? Marta said. The angel wing? I have not. She asked her, do you think it's this angel wing is coming or going? The Countess shrugged, and this is the end of chapter 15. Is there a difference? The angel is there. That is what matters. She stepped back away from the painting and turned to face Marta. Tomorrow we will continue. Tomorrow we will tell the fifth tale. What happens when we get to the end of the story? Said Marta. Then you will find someone more wholesome to spend your time with, someone who forces you to do jumping jacks and arithmetic. Arithmetic, said Marta. Whatever it is called these days, said the Countess, waving a dismissive hand, which means, kind of like getting away from me. The adding and subtracting of things, the counting of things, the small-minded calculations of the world. Our concerns are much larger, my dear. Come to my room in the morning. So she's basically saying, hey, what I'm telling you is more important. This is your life right now. And she's basically saying, yeah, I'm going to go away. At least this is my take. I'm going away after this seventh story. So really interesting. That wraps up our latest episode of the OK Book Club. As always, KEVMOK21@gmail.com. If you have any thoughts, if you disagree with me, where is this story going? Is this a whole dream? Is this Countess a relative, somebody in her life? Is it nobody? And last question is, will the mother get involved here by the end of the story, for Pete's sakes? And how about these secondary characters? The bellman and the man at the counter. We introduced them in the beginning, but I don't think we're going to get anything else out of them, apparently. So, until next time, the OK Book Club podcast.